Emily Hartley was the kind of student who left everyone in awe, or envy, depending on whom you asked. At 18, she was a straight-A student, president of her school's debate team, and an aspiring history major with her sights set on an Ivy League future. Her teachers admired her dedication. Her peers, not so much. Some thought she was an insufferable overachiever. Others whispered that nobody could be that good without cutting corners. The trouble began in her AP history class, where the notoriously strict Mr. Reynolds was known for making tests feel like psychological warfare. The latest exam had been especially grueling, a comprehensive essay and short answer test covering 200 years of political revolutions. Emily, true to form, aced it with a near-perfect score of 96. When the results were posted, a few murmurs rippled through the classroom. It wasn't Emily's 96 that caused the stir, though. It was that Jeremy Klein, a B student who rarely scored above a 75, had gotten a 94. The day after the results, Emily was called into Mr. Reynolds' office. At first, she thought it might be to praise her work. After all, she'd spent weeks poring over history textbooks, meticulously outlining essays, and memorizing dates until they were etched into her brain. But the moment she sat down, she realized this wasn't a celebratory meeting. Mr. Reynolds fixed her with a serious look. "Emily, your test answers were almost identical to another student's, Jeremy Klein's. It's highly suspicious, and I have reason to believe you cheated." Emily's jaw dropped. Cheating? She felt a cocktail of emotions: shock, anger, and humiliation. She stammered, "But I didn't cheat. I studied for weeks for this exam. You know I take my studies seriously." Mr. Reynolds leaned back in his chair, unconvinced. "Then explain why your answers are so similar." Emily bristled. How could she explain something she didn't do? "Maybe Jeremy copied me. Did you consider that?" Mr. Reynolds shook his head. "Jeremy's work is consistent with his class performance. This score isn't out of the realm of possibility for him." Emily felt the sting of the implication, that her hard work was less believable than Jeremy's sudden brilliance. The meeting escalated quickly. Mr. Reynolds told Emily she'd have to retake the test in his presence to prove her innocence. Otherwise, he would file an academic dishonesty report. Emily's stomach churned at the suggestion. "You're asking me to prove I didn't cheat? That's not how this works. You don't have any proof I did anything wrong." "I don't need solid proof if the evidence strongly suggests it," Mr. Reynolds countered. Emily left the office feeling blindsided. She'd always been proud of her integrity and dedication. Now, her reputation was under attack, and the prospect of retaking the test felt like an insult. Why should she have to prove herself again, just because someone else had similar answers? Word spread quickly through the school, because of course it did. By lunchtime, Emily was the center of a brewing controversy. Some of her classmates, like her best friend Lila, were furious on her behalf. "This is ridiculous," Lila said, slamming her tray on the cafeteria table. "You've never cheated in your life. He's just picking on you because he can't admit the system isn't perfect." Others weren't so sympathetic. A group of students at the next table whispered loudly enough for Emily to hear. "Maybe she did cheat. No one's that perfect," one said, rolling her eyes. "Why won't she just retake the test? If she's innocent, she's got nothing to lose," another chimed in. Emily tried to ignore them, but the comments gnawed at her. She knew retaking the test would end the drama, but something about the demand felt deeply wrong. A week later, things escalated further. Mr. Reynolds made good on his threat, filing a report against Emily for academic dishonesty. The principal called Emily and her parents in for a meeting. Her mom was livid. "How dare you accuse my daughter without proper evidence? This is baseless." But the principal seemed hesitant. "Emily, I understand this is upsetting, but retaking the test might clear everything up. If you didn't cheat, the score should reflect that." Emily clenched her fists. "It's not about the score, it's about the principle. If I give in now, it sets a precedent that anyone can be accused without proof and forced to jump through hoops to clear their name." Her parents stood by her decision, but the tension at school grew unbearable. Emily felt the weight of judgment everywhere she went, in the stares from her classmates, in the whispers that followed her down the hallway. As the weeks dragged on, Emily refused to back down. She appealed the accusation with the school board, demanding they drop the case unless Mr. Reynolds could provide concrete evidence. In the end, the board ruled in Emily's favor. There wasn't enough proof to uphold the accusation, and the report was dropped. But the damage was done. Some classmates still believed she'd cheated. Mr. Reynolds treated her with a cool detachment for the rest of the year. And Emily? She felt hollow. She'd won, but at what cost?
And that's where Emily's story ends. Or does it? She stood her ground and fought for her principles, but was it worth the price of her peace and reputation? Should she have just retaken the test to avoid the fallout? Or was she right to refuse to play along with an unfair system? What would you have done in Emily's shoes? Is she a hero for standing up for herself? Or did her pride make things worse? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. You decide, AITA or not.